action.
For today's episode of Perituza's Early Career Spotlight series, I am pleased to introduce my colleague, Upuli Vikramasinghe.
Thank you, Shaila.
Upuli is one of the newest members of the Perituza team. She originally joined us as an IT intern and recently converted to a full-time business analyst. We are so happy to have her in the team and have her here today to tell us about her story. So Upuli, you've worked on a few different areas since you joined Perituza. Can you tell us a little bit more about the projects you worked on so far?
Of course, Shaila. I started off my internship with HR Information Systems or HRIS. My first assignment was to automate the workflow of sending candidate offer letters. And it was quite complex because of the multiple layers of testing and the permission required. But once finished, the flow was seamless and we were able to integrate it with a third-party software.
So what would you say was your major takeaway from this first project?
So HRIS was an area that I hadn't been exposed to by the time I started my internship. But I learned how much technical knowledge is required in order to configure an off-the-shelf software.
I agree. For most enterprise softwares, it requires numerous permissions and settings. Each of the settings needs to be tested thoroughly because of the potential impact it could cause if it's not configured properly. So Upuli, after you finished working with HRIS, you started working on the event management software. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure, Shaila. As Perituza has been growing its early careers program, we wanted to streamline how we manage our campus recruiting events. So initially, I tried to find an off-the-shelf software which would fit the bill. But none of the available tools were what we were looking for. They were all missing at least one critical feature. So then we ultimately decided to build our very own event management software.
That decision to build this platform was a significant statement because of the investment it would require. So Upuli, once this decision was made, what was the next step you took?
We analyzed our requirements, which was fairly easy because we had already defined most of our requirements when we thought we would license an off-the-shelf software. Then I created process flows and wireframes using Microsoft Visio, and I also created the product backlog in Jira. Then I worked with our designer Bodhan, who translated my wireframes into UI UX designs.
So, what would you say was your favorite part of this project?
I really enjoyed working in Visio because of how powerful it is and how many advanced functionalities there are. Building process flows and wireframes through Visio is just the beginning.
I'm excited to see how this event management software will progress from here. Now, since you've converted to a full-time employee, you've started working on client projects. How has your experience been with that so far?
Yes, as soon as I completed my internship, I transitioned to working on a project for an environmental services client. Perituza has been working with this client for more than 3 years now, and we are about to release a new module to their existing software. And I've been working on both business analysis and quality assurance.
The fact that now you're working on client projects is the proof in the pudding of how much you progressed over the last 8 months.
Absolutely. I can see that growth in myself as well. But actually that growth has been twofold because I also actively engaged in leading our CSR efforts as well.
Yes, you were also actively involved in your university's Rotaract Club too, weren't you?
I was. I coordinated a few events with the other students, but nothing at the scale we done at Perituza. Not only was I able to participate in our CSR events, but also I got the opportunity to become the assistant chair of our CSR committee, and I have already helped to lead 2 of our CSR events.
The first of the events that you led was an IT workshop at the Macedon College, which was a resounding success. Let's take a look at that event.
You know, Shaila, that event is so memorable to me. Not only because of the interaction we had with the students, but also that event helped me to be comfortable leading initiatives with my work colleagues.
That event was also very special for me because it was my first event with Perituza. I was impressed seeing how engaging the students were.
They really were. The other event that I led was our early career CSR at Sri Sudarshana Primary School. Our early careers intern and full-timers refurbished an outdoor classroom.
Let's take a look at that event as well.
Oh, Shaila, look at you holding bricks. I'm so proud of you. actually, Sri Sudarshana Primary School is where my father and I both attended. So this project has a very special place in my heart. And I'm so thankful to Perituza that I could give back to my school while spending time with my work colleagues.
What a great sense of satisfaction to be able to give back to your school while being on the internship. So Upuli, as we wrap up here, what advice would you give to the students who are getting ready to graduate?
Don't be afraid to let your employer know what your personal interests are. They are looking for well-rounded people, and you may be able to explore your interest within your workplace as well, like I have with CSR.
That's really great advice because those experiences teach you so much, especially the soft skills. Well, Upuli, I know we are running out of time here, but I do want to thank you for sharing your story with us today.
Thank you for joining me, Shaila. I really enjoyed it. And I also want to wish all the best to the students who are getting ready to apply for early careers positions. It can be nerve-wracking to go on interviews, but once you start this first phase of your career, you are continuously grow and push yourself. The world will be your oyster.